Good day, everyone. I'm Ethan, moderator for this webinar. Welcome, everyone, for today's webinar, Management Skills for New Managers. I would now like to introduce our presenter for today, Chris Divney. Chris Divney is the founder and president of Pinnacle Performance Improvement Worldwide. Chris holds degrees in Management Studies and Organizational Behavior from Boston University. I would now like to hand over the floor to the speaker. Over to you, Chris.
Thank you, Ethan, and welcome everyone. So glad you could join us today as we explore management skills for new managers. Let's take a look. What do we want to address today? We want to help you to understand how to approach an intact team as their new supervisor, and also, frankly, how to approach your team every time. Also, to help you to develop your own management game plan, to motivate your direct reports, coach for improved performance. In addition, we'll help you to think and act strategically, better plan and prioritize your time, to handle difficult conversations, especially those conversations that we have to have, quite unpleasant, with people who are underperforming. Also, to help you to listen more actively and effectively, to create a motivational environment using constructive feedback and positive reinforcement to help motivate and guide your people's behavior. In addition, we'll help you to manage up to your entire team remotely, especially for the first time. So these core objectives you're looking at now have been around for a while, but became much more prevalent with the onset of the pandemic. Managing up to your entire team remotely, especially for the first time, to help you to boost productivity at every location, significantly cut down on emails and individual phone calls, shifting instead to conference calls, Zoom calls, Teams meeting calls. Also, how to know that team members are following rules, implementing proper policies and procedures, even though they may be in 5, 10, 15 or more different locations, as well as how we can spot problems even when we are far away. What's our number one job as anyone's manager? Frankly, as everyone's manager, is to provide each and every one of our direct reports with as much support as we possibly can to help each and every one of them perform at the highest level possible. So for every situation, the first step is we have to relate. Then the second step is to strategize and brainstorm. And then finally, now that we've all developed action plans, we need to implement our action plans. How to give team members a business roadmap that will keep them headed in the right direction. To slow down emails and phone calls and instead shift over to conference calls, Zoom calls, and Teams meetings. And finally, let's be sure that we distribute the meeting minutes immediately so everyone gets a copy. Next, how can we create crystal clear procedures the team members will follow to the letter? We outlined the specific procedures, provided the steps, included and clarified the reporting process, and of course, we regularly check to clarify, confirm, and verify. What are the actions we need to take to slow down the email and phone call blizzard? Ask for a phone call or Zoom call meeting with your manager. So what we've covered so far are steps we can take to maintain order while managing long distance. Systematic processes, that is the key that we share with everyone on our team. So what we'll focus on next are steps we can take to stay in touch and control no matter what, and some of the inside secrets to creating a lasting bond between team members so everyone feels like they're on the same team. This helps to ensure consistency and that we all can work together even better because we are all working similarly. That's very important. How can we determine some of the faster ways to try to get a poorly performing team member up to speed? Well, of course, we do want to meet with them one-on-one. We need to. If and when their performance improves, you can discuss reducing your meeting frequency. What we focused on here are steps we can take to stay in touch and control no matter what. Now, let's take a look at some measures we can take to establish quality-minded teams that we can rely on. Next, how can we structure teams so they will pull together? And let's also provide as many team incentives and rewards as we possibly can. These are the things we do when we really should be doing something else. Steps we can take to establish quality-minded teams that we can rely on. And then how to build an emergency response team. To empower others to make decisions and solve problems effectively, we have to empower ourselves first. What we've covered so far are steps we can take to maintain order while we are managing long distance. The farther someone is from you geographically, the more frequently we want to interact with them. Now we're going to focus on 4 more objectives. We're going to describe the benefits of developing time management skills. We will differentiate between different types of tasks. We will also analyze and use some tools which help us to organize our tasks. And finally, we'll practice some proven rules and techniques that we can use to manage our time more effectively. Our agenda in this part of our webinar today includes changes and choices, tools and rules, prioritizing and planning, and moving towards true effectiveness. So here we are. We have been traveling, and we still are traveling, on what we call our time management skills hierarchy. Effective people begin not with their work, but with their time. How do you believe we make most of our choices? 85% of our choices are made by habit. The 4 stages of habit change. There are 6 sets of skills that we need to constantly hone, refine, and improve in order to become better and better organized. To follow up effectively, here's a hint. So why do we recommend these tools to stay better organized? What we're also doing, though, is we are time charging. What is time charging? Well, time charging is where we write activities in a place our mind trusts that action will be taken at the appropriate time. Start looking at how we can effectively prioritize and plan. The guiding principle here is that when we dedicate ourselves to items that are important but not urgent, urgency and importance, urgent and important, quadrant 1, crises, problems that have an immediate impact on customer satisfaction. Look how significant these activities are. Important but not urgent. Urgent to someone else but not really important to you. Not urgent, not important. Junk mail, spam, escape activities. So how will we use our time more effectively using important and urgent? When we prioritize, let's sort things out. When we prioritize, let's use the 80-20 rule. The first question we always want to be asking is this task important? Now let's prioritize our to-do list. So now we are numbering our A's, 6 minutes or less to plan each day. So what steps will we take to effectively prioritize? In planning our day, here are the steps. Our goals have to be SMART. Our goals have to be specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time charged. You see, it's efficient to do things right. It's effective to do the right things right. Well, what we call that is operationalizing our goals, making our goals, developing a plan. What we're also talking about is taking a goal and making it happen, making it a reality or TOPS. Now, for planning our week, let's review our roles. What's the bottom line? Well, let's communicate our goals and objectives clearly so we can manage up to our entire team remotely. Let's help support our team members' performance by staying in touch and control no matter what. Let's also hone and refine our long-distance facilitation skills so we can establish quality-minded teams that we can rely on. And finally, let's provide rewards and incentives that people value. Continue communicating effectively and regularly so people will perform better. And it will be easier for you to troubleshoot off-site team member problems like a pro. Let's turn things back to Ethan Morris, our outstanding host.
Thanks, Chris. That was a very detailed and wonderful webinar.
Thank you, Ethan. I do have one final thought and suggestion. So I know Ethan will thank you. I would like to thank you as well for participating, everyone. I'd like to make one suggestion. You've invested 90 minutes of your time, and I thank you for that, and I commend you for that. Here is how I suggest you can truly honor yourself and value yourself for the time you've just invested. As soon as we finish, in just a moment, just take 2 minutes and review the notes that you've taken and circle or highlight 3 notes that you've taken which are especially meaningful and important to you. And then make those 3 notes which are especially meaningful and important to you your action plan, because when you take an action plan away from our webinar today, you truly honor yourself for having participated, and you also get a chance to honor the person who made the financial investment so you could participate today. Ethan, that's a final thought. Let's turn things back to you.
Thank you everyone for participating. You may all disconnect now. You all have a great day ahead. Bye-bye. Take care.